Hello and welcome to another midday recipe with me, Chef Day. So we're doing these recipes every single day for you guys. Every day it's at 12 o'clock BST, which is British Summer Time. I, in my error, kept saying GMT. That's not right because our clocks went forward, so it's BST. So you guys should be able to figure out what time that is wherever you are. I know that we've got a lot of people who are joining us from various parts of the world. So yeah, so I hope it is clear enough for you guys as to like what time we are actually here. Okay, so we're trying something new out today. We are trying something a little bit new out today. So if you guys, if this is the first time that you're here, you won't know that I try to answer as many questions as I can whilst I'm cooking along. So it might be questions about what we're making today. It might be questions about anything else to do with vegan food. So I've got your comments here and I've just turned it the other way around so that hopefully I can see more of your comments. So I am also the right way around today, which is a really good start because occasionally I'm not, but this thing isn't actually working. So let's just pop it around the other way and see if we can see more of your comments that way. There we go. Okay, so we've got Katie has joined us. Thank you, Katie. Ariel, really lovely to see you. Carly, happy Easter. Happy Easter. Gloria, thank you for joining us again. And Sue says, happy Easter Day. Happy Easter to you guys. So we have done some Easter recipes over the last few days. And you guys thought, where's the chocolate? Where's the chocolate? Surely just forgetting the chocolate. I did not forget the chocolate. We are going to do chocolate today. We are not only going to do chocolate today, we're going to do chocolate in a big way. So, love chocolate eggs. Always really love them. But it always seemed to me a bit of a shame that there's this hollow inside the egg which could be filled with something. So today, we're going to show you how to fill your chocolate eggs with one of your favourite chocolate bars. So just before we get going, there is a rainbow somewhere here today. There is always a rainbow in my kitchen somewhere. Where is it? You guys have to tell me. So see if you can spot the rainbow. If there are any kids watching in particular, you have to try and guess it first before any of the adults guess it. Okay? Because kids are better at spotting rainbows than adults. So they should be really quick to the mark. Justine said, hello and happy Easter. Happy Easter. Right, okay, so just to walk you through the recipe that we're going to be making today, we will be making these hollow eggs to start with, and then I'm going to talk you through how to make 6 different chocolate bars inside them. All vegan, all healthier than their non-vegan counterparts. Yeah, they are healthier, they're not necessarily healthy, so don't make these and then just, you know, this is kind of like breakfast, lunch and dinner. Okay, so you have been warned. Okay, so the chocolate bars that we will be making, what I will talk you through today, and the ones that I have actually made, I made 1 of each, so 6 in total. So first of all, a crunch bar. So so I think it's called Crunch Bar in America. In the UK, I think maybe it was called like a Kellogg's Crispy Bar, potentially. And then a variation on that, we have the Peanut Crunch. And so they are chocolate on the inside, but mixed with Crispies. So these are the Crispies. Jenny said, as a chocoholic, this is heaven. It is. This is going to be a good Easter Sunday in this house. Jeff's already had his Easter egg as well, so he's going to get through all of these as well. Fortunately, he has a lot of gardening to do later, so we'll be whizzing around there. So the crunch bars include, in the inside, they have chocolate, but mixed in with these. So this is just puffed rice, and the kind that I get doesn't have any sugar on it. It's from the health food shop. It's literally just puffed rice, so you don't have to worry that you're adding in any more sugar. But of course, you know, if you guys have something like this at home, it's great for you to just kind of like use, you know, this type of cereal that you have. Sarah said, happy Easter, just done your Easter pancakes. That's so cool. That's the other day we did Easter bunny pancakes. So I'm very, very looking forward to seeing those photos. Yeah, so this is what's going to go into our crunch bar. So please guys do tell me if you've actually had these before and if they were your favourite chocolate bar, and also if there are kind of like variations between countries, because some of these are different in different countries. Okay, and then the next one we have is the Milky Way, which I believe is this one here. So this is a British Milky Way. So a British Milky Way is just nougat. That is it. Okay, British Milky Way is just nougat, and quite a lot of us, we had them when we were kids. They were like really, really tiny and just like a nice little kind of, you know, small snack. So that's the British Milky Way. And then here we have the US Milky Way. So the US Milky Way is what is known in the UK. Keep along with me, I know it's a bit complicated. The US Milky Way is the same as the UK Mars bar. So it is caramel and nougat. Following? Siri said she could already see the rainbow. Okay, let's see if anybody else... Have you guessed it before, early? I think you have. I think you are a professional rainbow spotter too. Robert, thank you for joining me, and thank you to everyone else who I've missed coming in. Okay, so that's the US Milky Way / UK Mars bar. And then we also have Snickers. So this is our Snickers here, which is caramel with peanut and then nougat. So I have, and also we've got a double decker. So a double decker, I think, is quite a British thing. So anybody who is American or lives in America out there, please tell me, do you have double deckers? Have you heard of a double decker? I mean, it is quite a British thing anyway, because a double decker is what we call a bus. So, you know, maybe you have a different name for it. So, but a double decker is nougat on the top and then chocolate, melted chocolate with these Crispies on the bottom. Okay, so Sean says he can see the rainbow. So, okay. First shout it out to me. Zoe! Thank you for joining me. Okay, so just calming round here. These are the ingredients that we will be showing you how to use today. But you've got to decide which of these lovely things you are going to make. And then based on that, you know, you will be needing some of this or all of this. So here, I've written it here as well. So the crunch is the chocolate plus Crispies. The peanut crunch, chocolate plus peanut plus Crispies. The Snickers is caramel plus peanut and then nougat. And I've actually put these in the layers that they're in as well. This one needs to be frozen. The double decker, nougat on top, and then chocolate and Crispies on the bottom, again frozen. UK Milky Way, nougat only, frozen. US Milky Way, UK Mars bar, caramel on top, and then nougat on the bottom. And again, that is frozen. So the first two don't need to be frozen. In fact, it's better if they're not. But these do, because, you know, the caramel and the nougat that we're going to be making for them today, they can be quite soft. So if it's not frozen, then, you know, it's just going to be a bit too liquidy. But it's really, really nice frozen, because, you know, you got like frozen Mars bars and stuff like that these days. So, Zoe said, hey lovely, so nice to see you. So nice that you could join us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I will shift these along and then we'll get on with making our first Easter egg. So I have this very, very handy mould. I think it was just from Amazon or something like that, usually. Wasn't very expensive at all. And these will last a really, really long time. Yeah, I always use a board underneath it, because this is, you know, it's floppy, which is the reason why we want to use it, because silicone is great for, you know, being able to pop these out. Fantastic. But if you want to carry it around the kitchen, then, you know, it's not too stable. So I always put a board underneath it. And I have melted some chocolate. So I have just used some regular eating chocolate. So what I mean by that is as opposed to cooking chocolate, because I didn't have any cooking chocolate at home. And of course, you know, with a lot of these recipes, we're really trying to get you guys to use whatever it is you have at home and help you kind of troubleshoot the issues that can come up with just using like what you have in your kitchen. So I just use a regular Bournville chocolate. It's a 50% vegan, obviously, but you know, it's sweeter than I would normally have. But you know, it's perfect for this type of thing. But what that means is that when I'm melting it, it doesn't get as runny as cooking chocolate would. So if you're using cooking chocolate for this, then the best thing for you to do is to spoon in a little bit of the melted chocolate and move it around like this, so that the chocolate is covering all the inside. Sorry, Tanya said, thanks Day, I made your hot cross buns amazing. Good. They're even nicer the day after. I had some this morning for second breakfast. Lorraine said hello and happy Easter. Hello and happy Easter. Julie, thank you for joining us. Yes, so if your chocolate melts very, very well and it's very thin, that's great. And pop it into one of these recesses and move it around. You can keep it on a board if you want and move it around until that's covered. Wait for it to cool down and then do it again with a second layer, and you can even do it with a third layer if you want to. We need to make sure that our mould, the chocolate that's going to go in there, is really quite stable before we start putting anything else into it. Okay, because you know, when you press these out, it's quite a lot of pressure on them, so we need to make sure that there's a good amount of chocolate in there. Jenny said, can you recommend anything to use as you don't have moulds? Okay, it's really, really difficult to make Easter eggs without Easter egg moulds. Sorry. But yes, okay, so if you happen to have had an Easter egg bought for you, or you bought one for somebody else, then sometimes they have like a plastic thing inside that is holding that egg in place, so you can actually use that, which is very, very handy. But I really don't think that there is anything else. I mean, you know, we've got, you know, things like really cute like ice cube trays with, you know, quite big ice cube sections in them. You know, if you could use things like that, and then it's not like technically like Easter egg shape, but maybe that doesn't matter, especially if you're filling them. If you're filling them, it doesn't matter. Okay, so yes, the type of chocolate. So with cooking chocolate and with some other chocolate, it can get to be quite thin. So now you know the method for if it's thin. But often when we're using just regular chocolate, it's not that thin. So I'll show you what I mean. Here, this is actually quite thick. So if you can see that, I'm just going to bring it closer. Harriet said hello from South Korea. I think you might be our first person from South Korea. Hello. Gloria said muffin or fairy cake paper cases as moulds. Yes, that's a really, really good idea. And Tanya said happy Easter Day. Okay, so this is the chocolate that I've been using, and you can see it is really quite thick. So if I try to put that into this mould and kind of turn it around, it's not going to do that really thin coating that you would normally want to happen, and which normally happens with cooking chocolate. But we can do a workaround with this. So I'm just going to pop it into one of the recesses here, and actually, you know, we can use it in the school. Like we always talk about ingredients having limitations and possibilities, and you know, one of the limitations of this chocolate is that it's not getting thin enough for me to kind of just, you know, roll it around in there, but that is actually turning out to be an advantage, because it is really responding very well to me spooning up the sides, and because it's quite thick, it's staying there, which is awesome. So actually, if the chocolate is this thick, you only need to do this once, but you need to make sure that it's on thick enough in every part of the egg, because we don't want any holes where, you know, the insides are going to be leaking out. Zoe says that she's dribbling. Peter, we love raw vegan chocolate. I do love raw vegan chocolate, I have to admit. If I can get it, then that is definitely my favourite. I love raw Halo. I don't know, Peter, if you discovered raw Halo yet. And I was actually looking at their website the other day, and you can order chocolate bars to be sent to you. I was very tempted, very tempted. But anyway, we're just using like what we have in the kitchen today. And so with this first egg, I am making sure that it goes all around the outside and the lip. Now I'm going to bring that up to you guys so that you can see. Okay, right there. So you can see that I've made this edge, and I've really gone around the outside of it because come around it. Because what can happen is when you're spooning the chocolate into it, it can really come away from those sides, those top edges, and so they're the ones that are gonna be more likely to break, and that's what we don't want to happen. So as this chocolate sets, you can go back to it intermittently and just coax it back up to those edges so that it's thick around the sides. There we go. Okay, so Johnny, thank you for joining us. I absolutely can't stand chocolate, but I want to make these. Oh, I remember now. Yes, yeah, you don't like chocolate. You can make them for someone else. How about that? And that would really show that you care, because, you know, you're not going to be able to have any of them. Okay, so as I said, we've just done the edge around the outside. Don't worry about it being messy. It will come off later, and actually it will come in real handy when we want to put some decoration on the outside. Okay, so this is our chocolate hollow. So you do this however many times you want to do that, using about 10 grams of chocolate per hollow. So that's just for this round bit. That's how much you need. Okay, so now we can set this aside. Just to say as well, when you're using eating chocolate as opposed to cooking chocolate, sometimes it can look a bit funky when you bring it out of the mould. You know, it might be a bit patchy, it might be a bit like spotty, it might be a little bit white in patches. One of the best things to do to kind of reduce the likelihood of it going white is don't put it in the fridge, or wait for an hour or so and then put it in the fridge. Usually the whiteness is caused by difference in temperature, and it can bring the oil up to the surface and blah blah blah, that type of thing. So you can change that a little bit, you can manage that a bit. But the spotting, the freckling, sometimes it happens because this chocolate isn't just like pure chocolate, it's got other bits and pieces in it, whatever the manufacturers decided to put into it, and so it might have this weird effect. That is why we will be decorating them. Okay, so we'll just pop this to one side for the moment. There we go. And now we need to make our nougat. So, trusty hand blender again. You know me, I love a good hand blender. Okay, there we go. Okay, so our first ingredient into here will be our cashews. So in here we've got 80 grams of cashews that have been soaking in hot water for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, probably 30 minutes by now. So they're nice and soft, and I don't take them out of the water until I'm ready to use them, because once you take them out of the water they will start drying out and they won't be as soft. So I'll just get rid of the water now down the sink. There we go, and pop them into our jug, or whatever it is that you're using to blend in. So So we have our syrup. We're going to be using agave syrup here today, but you guys can use whatever syrup you want to use. There's lots of different fruit syrups on the market now, or rice syrup would be lovely. So 1 tablespoon of the syrup into here, and 4 tablespoons of milk. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 60 ml of milk. So I'm going to blend this first, and then we'll add the chocolate. Okay. Rainbow spotting going on today. Yes, it is on the board today. Well done, well done, well done. Okay, so with making any type of like cashew cream, if you're using if you're just making a small amount, then really you need to do it in something like this. If you want to make a bigger amount, then you can use a NutriBullet or like any kind of like high-speed blender. But a NutriBullet might really struggle with this amount because it is quite small. Thing for you guys to watch, but I'm going to try and make it as smooth as it can get. So that you guys can see what it looks like. Just get a good spoon. Quite easy to find the rainbow today, perhaps because it's Easter Sunday. Yes, I decided to go easy on you guys. Nobody wants to stress too much about finding rainbows on a Sunday, particularly not on Easter Sunday. There we go. It's really, really quite smooth now, which is really what we want. And as I said, this mixture is going to be quite wet. So it's not yet as chewy as nougat should be, which is why we will be freezing it. Everyone's seeing the rainbow now. So I just bring this up to you guys so that you can see more what we're looking for. See, nice and smooth. And now we want to add our chocolate. So it's 20 grams of chocolate. So I'm just going to pop it onto my scales here. There we go. And so you will need scales with this because, if you just measure 20 grams of chocolate on here and then melt it, chances are loads will be remaining in the bowl, and we don't want it in the bowl, we want it to be there, so it will be off. And you have to think that with the nougat, the chocolate is one of the things that is going to be the kind of like glue that's going to make it more kind of firm. That's the chocolate's role in it, plus it tastes really, really nice. It looks nice. Yes, it does. It really, really does. Okay, so we want 20 grams of the chocolate in there. A little bit more. Whoop, there we go. 20 grams. Okay, and I'll just give that a good mix. So this is our chocolate nougat. There we go. Which, by the way, is really nice to eat just as it is. And this is one of the recipes that you always end up with like little bits left over. So when I was doing all of the Easter eggs last night, we ended up with bits and pieces left over, and we made an emergency dessert, as always, with these various bits and pieces. Really, really lovely. Okay, so this is our nougat. We'll set that to one side whilst we make the caramel. So the caramel is super, super, super easy. Zoe said that she hasn't used creamy cashew nuts in her cooking yet, but she will give it a go. Good, 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 good. Okay, right, on to the caramel. So again, we've got our cashew nuts, which I will just drain. Again, you know, not doing that until the very end, until I'm about to use them. And we'll just pop that into our bowl here with 120 grams of dates. So one word about dates. I'm using Rajul dates, which are nice and soft and sticky. But if your dates are a bit more on the firm side, then you can just soak them in hot water for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. Take them out of the water and then use them in this. So that's a really, really great way to use dates in your cooking without having to like spend too much money, because Rajul dates can be really expensive. You know, so, and you might have like some dates in your cupboard, you know, and you can use them, just you need to soak them. But do use that water, because that water is really, really lovely to drink, really healthy and nutritious. Sarah said, yes, nuts, particular cashews and everything. Oh, cool, cool. And we'd love to see pictures of things like that as well. So, you know, if you're in our group, in our community hub, then, you know, please just come and like share inspiration and, you know, what you're having for lunch and etc, etc. We love all that stuff. Okay, so we've got 120 grams of dates in here and then 20 grams of cashews. We will be adding 1 tablespoon of syrup and 1 tablespoon of water, and then we can give it a blend. And for the caramel, that is it. That is literally it. Of course, if you want to make it salted caramel, which might be a good idea, then you can do. That would be lovely. Tanya says that she loves making cashew cheese. And there we go. Yeah, cashews are so great at that. There is no other nut that makes it like quite so creamy. Okay, and again, hand blender time. Have a little bit of cashew nuts in there. So the cashew nuts are there to make the mixture a bit thicker. So we really want to grind them down as much as we can. And show you guys again what this looks like. So this is just a really simple date caramel, and obviously, you know, a lot healthier than the alternative. Okay, there we go. Do you have a cookbook? I would love to use your recipes. No, we don't, not yet. Not yet. To be honest, I looked into like how easy or difficult it was to create your own cookbook, and because it's all like full colour, it's bloody expensive. It's really, really expensive, but we do share a lot of recipes on our website. If admins could put a link to our website, that would be fab. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Okay, so this is our toffee. And whenever you're freezing dates, they won't freeze completely. So you'll still get that squidginess, even though these will go into the freezer. Lou, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And she said, Happy Easter, Chef Day, and everyone. Oh, Lou. Okay, so we have made our nougat and our caramel, so we've got that to the ready. What we also need is our Crispies. And if you're making one of the chocolate bars that has peanuts in it, then I just literally used the peanuts, like the salted peanuts that we have, because you've got loads of other sweetness in there anyway. And I didn't have any other peanuts, so I've used this. The chocolate that we're using is quite sweet as well, so that will balance out the saltiness. And I just popped a few peanuts in here into my pestle and mortar and just bashed them down. Because these are going to be quite small, so we just want peanut bits, and this can be decoration as well. So there are peanut pieces there. Okay, so back to our moulds. So I'm going to show you guys how, like, all the different variations, but we're actually only going to be making these 2, obviously, otherwise we'll be here all day watching me make all 6. Okay, so first of all is our crunch bar. So our crunch bar is literally just Crispies mixed with our melted chocolate. So we are going to use these, but for a different bar. So I literally just mix some of these. And remember, you don't need much to go inside. So don't make too much. Otherwise, then you'll have stuff left over, and then you'll just have to eat it. Like, that's gonna be difficult, That's the type of food waste we want to see. The type that you can gobble up afterwards. So just mixing in a little bit of chocolate into the Crispies. There we go. And see, this is, really quite thick, the chocolate, as, is often the case with chocolate that isn't cooking chocolate. So you just want to make sure that all of those Crispies are covered, and we'll pop those to one side. So if you want to do a peanut crunch, then literally you just mix in this with some of the crushed peanuts that you've got, and that is it. How simple is that? And then you can just pop that into the recess, and that's done. So they're fairly easy ones. But we're going to make slightly more difficult ones. But just to go through, well, we've got the British Milky Way, that's nougat only. So literally it would be a matter of pouring this stuff into it, and that's it, and then covering it. If you want to make a US Milky Way, UK Mars bar, then first of all we put in our caramel, our date caramel. That's what we put on first as the bottom layer, and then we put the nougat on top of it, and then we cover it with that final layer of chocolate just to seal it all. Glory said, what about recipe booklets? Up to 40 pages, say. I could put you in touch with a small printer. That sounds like an awesome solution. Thank you, because we have so many recipes, not just from ourselves, but also from our students. And our students create the most wonderful recipes. We've actually partnered with places like Riverfield Organics, and Clive's Pies and Hodmedods. I rave about Hodmedods quite a lot, and my students came up with recipes using all their products, and yeah, so I would love to get them out there into the world if we can. Doug, thank you for joining me. I do hope you're well. So, okay, so so they're the first 4, but I'm actually going to show you how to do a Snickers and a double-decker. We haven't yet found out whether a double-decker is in America as well. Does anybody know? Do they have double-deckers in America? Okay, so for our Snickers bar, first of all, we need to put in some caramel with some peanut, which sounds like an amazing idea. This is a good day. I like this one. Yeah. Should we just do these recipes every day together? That would be fun. Okay, so so Snickers, caramel. So some of our caramel into here. It is quite thick. If you want to loosen it up, then you can just add a bit more water. And some of our peanuts. Colleen says that she's never heard of a double-decker. So no, I don't think that you have them in America. If you are in America, Colleen, I think that you probably are, if you answered that question. Yeah, so maybe they're just a British thing. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that in. And then you can see, like, it isn't very much at all. And then we can just pop it into our base here. Now I can see with the base that I need to just add a little dab of chocolate there. Because I could see that it was a tiny bit too thin. And then just add our caramel with peanut for our Snickers bar. Oop, there we go. And I always use 2 spoons, because if you use one then you're like, get off, and you know it won't get off the spoon. So using 2 is always a good method. Okay, so there we go. We've got the top layer of that, and then we just want to pop in some of the nougat. The nougat should be fairly easy and runny. Double decker is like a 2-story bus. It is. It is. It's what we call our buses. And then our nougat can just go on top. And I always have like lots of little spoons to hand, because they will be really useful, and they get really messy really quickly. So there you go. We've got our Snickers bar with the toffee plus peanut on top, and then nougat on the bottom. So that's the last thing to put on. And then we just need to pop some of the chocolate on. And you know, as I said before, this chocolate is quite thick. It's getting more and more thick as we go through the show, because it's out of the pan now, so it's cooling down. Right, there we go. So you just need to make sure that it's coming all the way up to the edges. And joining with that nice full edge that you created earlier, and that will seal it. So that is our Snickers bar. On to doing our double decker, and we'll do our double decker on here. Peter said, anyone going to USA, find some peanut chews vegan Snickers bar. Yeah. So first of all, we need to put some nougat. So that goes in first. So with a double decker, the nougat is on top. So whatever is on top goes in to the egg first. So we've got our nougat in there. And then a double decker is Crispies with chocolate on the bottom. I'm just going to add a bit more chocolate to this. And then pop it on top of that. And again, I'm going to need the help of another spoon, because, you know, it's just sticking and getting very messy. This gets very messy, by the way, if you hadn't guessed that already. So just, you know, be prepared for that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Chocolate will be everywhere. Maybe all hair as well. But it's not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. Okay, so Dave, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we just want to pop our final layer, which is, you know, the chocolate that goes on the outside, that will just seal everything together, making sure that we go all the way up to the edges, and that nice big edge that we gave ourselves earlier when we did the first bit of this recipe. Okay, so now we can leave these set, and as I said earlier, it is much better to leave them out of the fridge to set, and then maybe after like an hour or two then put them into the fridge, because what can happen is if you put them into the fridge too soon, then pardon me, then it can cause the chocolate to go white and then it doesn't look appealing. It's still absolutely fine if it's white, there's no problem with it at all, but it just doesn't look so nice. But it can happen, which is why we're going to go to the next step, and I will show you how to decorate it in a very easy but effective way. So let's get rid of this and bring our pre-made double-decker Easter egg out. So you can see, well actually I don't know if you can see, on there there's a little bit of whiting on it. Here we go. Right, okay, so you can see maybe there's a little bit of whiting on there. We can definitely cover that up. And also the edge. The edge is very messy, but that's fine. That is absolutely fine. And in fact, it's actually quite useful for us because we can use these bits of chocolate as decoration. So I'm just taking a sharp knife and going round the edge just to trim that off. And just pop it to one side. Whenever you're handling the egg or any of the bits of chocolate that have come off it, then I recommend that you try not to use your hands. This chocolate, it will melt very, very quickly. So it will melt onto your hands. And if you're trying to manoeuvre your chocolate egg around, then you could end up melting it so much. And okay, so if you melt it just a little bit, then you'll end up with a fingerprint on your egg. If you melt it a lot, then you'll actually go into the egg, which is what we don't want. Okay, so we'll just pop those over to the side there. So a double decker is nougat and also the chocolate and the Crispies. So I'm going to take a few of the Crispies and just chop these up into tiny, tiny, tiny pieces as much as I can. And so this is the way that I'm differentiating between them once I've made them. So of course, you know, you guys, you might decide that Mars bar is your favourite, or like, you know, US Milky Way is your favourite. And so you could just make all of them that flavour, that's fine. It's just that I wanted to show you guys all the different options today, because I know that some people will like one and some people will like another, so you know, at least like we've got like as many bases covered as we can today. So just by incorporating some of what went just by incorporating some of what went into the inside on the outside, then we know which one is which. I hope that was really, really clear what I just said there. Okay, so we've got our bits and pieces that we're going to put on the outside so that we know which one is which. And here I have some dark chocolate that I melted. So I knew that with this chocolate it would melt and it would be quite thin. Let me show you. There we go. So this is a lot thinner than the other chocolate came out. And thin chocolate is very useful to us because, you know, if we want to make some lovely stripes, then it enables us to do that. If we try to do that with a thick chocolate, it really wouldn't have worked so well. So let me show this to you guys up close, if you can see that. There we go. And so you probably would have seen, chocolates with that pattern on before in, you know, chocolatiers. And, you know, it's not anything that's that complicated to do. But of course it's better if your chocolate does go quite thin. So I'm just taking some of these crispy bits and just scattering them on top. So it's really nice if you can get some of the really small bits as well. This is a little kind of chef's secret, that anything that doesn't look that pretty, you can scatter bits over it and all of a sudden it's like beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so once this is as you want it to be, you know, you've decorated it enough, then just slide your knife underneath and then you can pop it onto a plate to just, you know, set, and then you can pop it in. This one will go into the freezer. Let me just get out the other ones. Zoe said it looks so good. It does look good. Okay, so now we have our whole set. We have our Crunch Bar, our Peanut Crunch Bar, our Snickers, our Mars Bar and US Milky Way, and our UK Milky Way, and now our double decker. So we've got a whole set now. So I would love you guys to try these out. You don't have to do this at Easter, by the way. You can do it any time of the year. I give you permission. Just say you're practicing for Easter. So, Lorraine said, nice idea for a vegan box of homemade chocolates. Yes, absolutely. So, any questions before we end our class for today? Do let me know if there is anything that you want us to make, anything that you want us to you know, figure out recipes for you. You know, if you've got like back of the cupboard ingredients that you don't know what to do with, then please come and tell me. I'm gonna eat some of this. So this is the Mars Bar / Milky Way. Unsurprisingly, it's really nice. Really nice. What's one teaspoon? So 1 tablespoon of syrup. I used agave today, but you can use rice syrup, any type of neutral syrup, I would suggest. So Zoe said that was great, thank you so much. I really want to give these a go. Please do. Let me know how you get on with pictures, preferably. If you've eaten half of it, it's fine. I'll still accept, you know, photos of half-eaten food. It's what we do. So, thank you for joining me today. Please cut one in half so we can see inside. I did. Let me just bring it round, actually. So, this was in the photos that I took earlier today. So this is the Mars Bar one. So at the top, you've got caramel at the top, and then you've got nougat there. Let me see. Do you want which other ones do you want me to cut in half? So I think the Milky Way one is going to be a bit boring. This one isn't set yet. Let's try the Snickers. This just means that I have to lick my fingers a lot. Oh, tough life, huh? Tough life. Okay. And this is the Snickers one. So with the peanut and the toffee caramel at the top, and then the nougat on the bottom. Great. And then look, we might as well do a few more. And then this is the peanut crunch. Did you hear that crunch? I guess that's why it's called a peanut crunch. Okay, I'm gonna bring this one to you to see. So with the peanut crunch and the crunch, they don't have to go in the freezer. And in fact, they're better if they're not. So there we go. That's a really beautiful shot there. Really like that one. Okay. So we'll wrap it up there for today, guys. Thank you for spending this time with me. It really does mean the world to me to know that you guys find these sessions informative and fun, and you actually make the recipes. It's absolutely beautiful to see that. So happy Easter, everyone. I hope you enjoy your chocolate today, as we will shortly. Yeah, and join us again tomorrow. So tomorrow will be Arpita, one of our graduates, she will be doing a recipe from her own home. On Wednesday, we'll have Katie, she'll be doing a recipe from her own home as well. Every Monday and Wednesday, we'll have Arpita and Katie, which is really wonderful. Every other day, you'll get me. So thanks for joining us and have a lovely day.